Theodore Roosevelt Jr., often referred to as Teddy or by his initials, TR, was an American politician, statesman, soldier, conservationist, naturalist, historian, and writer who served as the 26th President of the United States from 1901 to 1909. Theodore Roosevelt was the youngest President of the United States. Born in New York City on October 27, 1858, Theodore Roosevelt was the son of Martha Bullock Roosevelt and Theodore Roosevelt Sr. Theodore Roosevelt, one of the greatest, his visage has been carved into stone with fellow great presidents Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington. As a child, Teddy was constantly in poor health. Young Teddy suffered from severe asthma, and idolized his father, who helped him develop resilience, drive and intellectual rigor. Renowned for his vigor as president, Roosevelt possessed little of it as a child. Malnourished from a lack of appetite, the scrawny boy with a sunken chest suffered from frequent colds, coughs, nausea, headaches, cramps and fevers. 3-year-old, Teddy suffered terrifying asthma attacks that struck without warning. Propped up in a bed or a chair, the fragile, frightened child felt as if he was drowning, as he endured endless nights wheezing and gasping for air. I was a sickly, delicate boy, suffered much from chronic asthma, and frequently had to be taken away on trips to find a place where I could breathe, Roosevelt recalled, in his autobiography. Ultimately, Roosevelt's father proved the best tonic for the ailing boy, holding him in his arms and carrying him upright whenever he struggled for air. I could breathe, I could sleep, when he had me in his arms, Roosevelt recalled. His father searched far and wide for fresh air that could fill his son's lungs, taking Teddy on a year-long trip to Europe, and on open carriage rides up and down Broadway on frosty nights. Although lacking in physical strength, the wisp of a boy abounded in intellectual power. Often confined to bed, the curious Teddy was tutored at home and found companionship on the bookshelves of his family library. Theodore was homeschooled as a child, partially due to his health struggles. He had tutors who taught him English, French, German and Latin. He even had lessons in taxidermy, a subject in which he took great interest. This study would lead him to his lifelong passion for natural science. He also showed a love of politics, history, law, and the Navy. While the asthmatic boy's need for pure air sparked a lifelong affinity for outdoor spaces, the science books he devoured, including those penned by Charles Darwin, kindled his love of nature. As Teddy's teen years approached, his father challenged the frail boy, "Theodore, you have the mind, but you have not the body, and without the help of the body, the mind cannot go as far as it should. You must make your body." Roosevelt threw himself into the drudgery of exercise to surmount his limitations. His father converted the second-story piazza of the family's Manhattan brownstone into a makeshift gymnasium where Teddy poured hours into hanging from gymnastics rings and parallel bars. He took boxing lessons from a prizefighter, and visited a nearby gymnasium every day to lift weights. When 13-year-old, Teddy received his first gun, the extremely nearsighted boy couldn't shoot straight. After failing to even see the letters on a distant billboard that his friends were reading, Roosevelt received his first pair of glasses, which opened his eyes in more ways than one. "I had no idea how beautiful the world was until I got those spectacles," Roosevelt later wrote. Roosevelt credited his vigorous exercise regimen, which bolstered his belief in the value of hard work. Having been taught that exercise and outdoor living built character, and having seen the impact they had on him. During the Spanish-American War, Roosevelt was lieutenant colonel of the Rough Rider Regiment, which he led on a charge at the Battle of San Juan. He was one of the most conspicuous heroes of the war. Roosevelt extolled the doctrine of the strenuous life, as he called it in an 1899 speech. That highest form of success, Roosevelt said, comes not to the man who desires mere easy peace, but to the man who does not shrink from danger, from hardship or from bitter toil. The incredibly prolific Roosevelt practiced what he preached. The once sickly boy graduated from Harvard University, authored more than 30 books, rose through the ranks of New York politics while enduring the deaths of his mother and first wife on the same day, became a war hero after organizing the Rough Riders and ultimately became the youngest president in American history. In doing so, he fulfilled the credo of his revered father: get action, do things, be sane, don't fritter away your time.
The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly.